Joining me now, philanthropy expert Lisa Dietlin. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me.
I'd like to bring you in at disaster times because, among other times, because you know the answers. Sometimes people feel helpless. They want to do something. Let's start by pointing out the fact that you identify kind of 3 phases to a disaster, hurricanes included.
There are 3 phases to any disaster. Right now, we're in the rescue phase. You know, we're wanting to make sure that people are safe.
And that's the first phase.
That's the first phase. Then we go into relief where, okay, does everybody have food, clothing, and shelter? And then we go into recovery. And most people don't understand that those nonprofit organizations in the disaster business, have to have money for all 3 phases, the rescue, the relief, and the recovery.
So let's talk about each of those phases, because since we are in rescue right now, there are certain things people should do and shouldn't do. I've been reading articles that you've written, one of which says, look, don't fly to these places thinking you're going to help out. But some people think they want to try and help.
They do. They'll load up their car with water or with flashlights or with blankets or whatever, and they'll drive down. And I say, don't do that, because you're taking an extra bed, you're an extra mouth to feed. You know, if anything, fund those organizations that have professionals that are in the area already. American Red Cross, Salvation Army. They have already deployed people. They're ready. They're waiting. They're evacuating people from. We now think it's going to hit Hurricane Dorian in South Carolina, which. Funny, a year ago, Hurricane Florence was battering the Carolinas. So they know what to do. They know where the resources are needed to be deployed. Write a check.
And that's right. Or go online. I mean, these places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's another conversation. You have to be careful about going online, right? You and I have talked about that.
We have talked about being a smart donor, yes.
But certainly things like the Salvation Army, there are things, Red Cross,
correct.
You can absolutely trust.
Absolutely.
So as we'll move through the rescue effort over the period of maybe a week, maybe 2, we'll shift into the relief effort. Actually, it almost seems like those go hand in hand, because those people who are there now feel like they do need some kind of help.
They do. And it's when the storm has passed and they go and they see what destruction has happened to their home, what destruction has happened to their schools, what destruction has happened to their community. Then the relief has to step up, because if your house is not habitable, if you cannot live in your home, you need a place to live. And that's where the next phase comes in, where you think about groups like Feeding America that have the soup kitchens and work with all these agencies throughout the country that actually provide meals and food to individuals and families. And you also think about Habitat for Humanity, who step up and start providing homes and relief efforts.
And then the final phase, the recovery effort. And that's really when I think about, well, as you just said, Habitat for Humanity, that's going on during that phase as well,
absolutely,
right? Time to rebuild.
Absolutely. And that's where we see a lot of houses of worship getting involved and sending missions to rebuild those areas.
So then it's time to go.
Then it is time to go, but we have to wait right now. But there's plenty of areas around this country that have had disasters that are in recovery that people could go right now. They don't have to go to where the impact is happening today.
You also think about, school supplies, all sorts of things. Everything gets destroyed.
Everything gets destroyed, and what people don't realize is that, sometimes just the simplest thing, like putting a care package together and sending it to a friend who's in the affected area, can really make a difference in their lives. Post-Hurricane Katrina, I had a friend in Louisiana. She lived in the Garden District, and she went back because family was there. And she called me and she said, I can't get cash. I can't shop. I can't. I said, what do you need? And she gave me a list, and I put a package together for her. So sometimes you can do that. And I also say, don't forget about the pets. A lot of your viewers are pet lovers. I know you are. And they're actually saying in Grand Bahama, where they evacuated the pets, it's underwater now. So don't forget about the pets and providing dollars and resources. Again, you can provide dog food, cat food, leashes, collars, everything that's needed in an animal shelter.
Yeah, number 1 for me. Lisa Dietlin, thanks for being with me. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
And I'll be back with some final thoughts in a moment. Stay with me.